you're absolutely right, brother. And that's, what you're saying is very insightful. You know, coming from a brother who's 16, brother, you're a leader. You know, you are a leader. You're a light. You're a thinker. And just what you said, if we have a little bit of light, then maybe we can figure this out. There was a congressman who was on the floor in the government, you know, the Congress and the Senate, and he said, this was back during the time of slavery, and he said, we have succeeded in closing off every avenue of light that could come to the Negro. And having thus succeeded, we have perpetually kept him in a situation where he will always be our slave. Now, what you said and what he said relate to one another, because they knew back then that we cannot let any light get to these Negroes. We cannot let any knowledge, any wisdom, or any understanding get to these black people, because all they need is a sliver. All they need is a little bit. What you have to do as young people, what you have to do as a young person, is accept your role as a leader. And you have to seek out knowledge. You got to go places where when you hear positive going on, when you hear black men who are meeting and discussing how to solve problems, who are discussing positivity, that's where you sit down and listen. That's where you engage in conversation. You have to read. You got to study. There's some men, you know, one of the brightest source of light that I have ever come across, and the man who is my leader, who I study, is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when I was your age, when I was 16, I was in college, and I was drinking in every lecture, every bit of knowledge that he wrote and that other people like him wrote and said, because at that age, when I was at your age, I looked around and I was like, man, this world is messed up. I was at a point where when I was your age, I was like, man, I don't even see myself ever having children, because why would I bring a child into a world like this? I don't want nothing but to destroy this world. And as a youngster, I mean, as I'm talking about in elementary school, my feeling was, man, you know, I came up in the Catholic Church. My feeling was, if you allow me to live in the time, you know, because my whole understanding of Jesus was different. I came up in the church, but I was like, if you allow me the time when Jesus come back, then all I want to do is be here when he comes back. You know why? Because I didn't believe in the type of Jesus that they talked about. When I read, see, I was the kind that actually read. You know, people talk about this, what the Bible say. Then I read it and I'll be like, man, no, you don't say that. That ain't what he's talking about. I would read Revelation. It said that he came like a lamb, but he returned as a what? Lion. And he had a sword, and it was dripping with what? Blood. Because what it's talking about is that the people who were meek and humble, the people who went through slavery and who were destroyed, and their women were raped and they were killed year after year, generation after generation, that those people who were like lambs, their children would one day become lions. Because their mothers, their great-great-grandmothers, who could do nothing about the situation and condition that they were in, they prayed and prayed that someone would come, that could change the condition. And that prayer is answered in your generation. You are the lions. The problem is that a lion has to learn how to roar, but he can't learn how to roar sitting at the foot of a pussycat. And most of the leaders that we have punked out. And there's only a few people and places that you can go who will teach you how to be a man, how to be a lion. And you have to discern when a man is talking like a lamb, talking like a punk, or talking like a lion. when you hear somebody and they got their pants hang down and gold and, nigga what? Because I got some money, because I got a car that the white man gave me and can pull away from me at any time, because it's not mine. They driving all of these Bentleys and whatnot in the video, but you don't realize that all that stuff was rented for the video. That don't belong to them. All that go after the video. They sign for every piece that they put on, every car that they get in. They sign away because it don't belong to them. And when it's over, where does it go? It go back to the folks who own it. They go back to the car dealer, back to the jewelry store, because that ain't theirs. It's all for show. And you have to understand who is talking to you and whose example you want to follow. Because as young people, you have to be very careful who you choose to follow, who you choose to listen to. And you have to learn how to listen to people who are giving you what? Knowledge. Because knowledge is what makes things happen. Think about it, and we're going to close on this. If you're sitting in a room and the lights are off, and it's a group of young people, everybody's sitting in the room with the lights out. Everybody need the light back on. Everybody need the gas and the heat on in the house. The person who knows how to turn the light back on is the person who everybody's going to what? Who's going to listen to and who's going to follow. There are simple solutions. They call it life skills. Life skills means how do you solve basic problems in living your life. They don't teach that in school anymore. What you have to learn how to do is go to where those things are being taught, like the male involvement program. You may find a church that they're teaching that in church. You may find another organization. You may find the Nation of Islam. But you have to go where people are committed to teaching you how to live, how to solve problems, how to think. And if you continue to go, what will happen is, you ever heard, we talked about this last week. See, God, a lot of people don't understand who God really is. In the Quran, he introduces himself and he says, I, God, I, Allah, am the best knower. I'm the best knower. Anything that you want to know, come to who? Come to me. Come to God. Because I know what? Best. And nobody else to go to. If you want to know this and you want to know that it's absolutely right, come to who? Come to God. Because God is what? The best what? The best knower. So he says, look, he gives you some examples. This is a man called Jesus. Most people don't even know who they're talking about when they talk about it. But he gives an example. He say, now this is a man who said, look, I got so in tune with my Father, and I studied him so much that my cup runneth over. He say, my cup runs over. If you got a cup that's sitting on the table and you pour water in it, and you pour so much water that the cup runs over, what does that mean? It's overflowing. So he say, look, man, I am in so much obedience to my Father. I learned and I studied him so much that my cup runs over. This is what that's saying. God says, look, I'm the best knower. So what I have to give you is what? Knowledge. Knowledge helps you solve problems. It gives you an edge on everybody who doesn't know. It allows you to make things happen. It makes you a leader. Now, all I ask you to do is be what I created you to be. And to do what I created you to do. And I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to give you all that information. In between you agreeing to be what I told you to be and do what I told you to do, I give you a cup. And that cup is called your mind. And I will fill your mind with what? Knowledge. Until your mind does what? Till it runneth over. Till it overflows. When your mind starts overflowing with knowledge, that's when you become what? A leader. Because once you have knowledge, the thing to do when you have knowledge is to what? Do. Whatever it is in front of you. If you know how to do it, you're going to do what? You're going to do it. The people who don't know how to do it, they're going to do what? Sit on their behind and do nothing. Criticize, condemn, and complain. Oh, man, this stuff's so bad. I don't know what to do. I can't, oh, hell, I don't know what to do. You know what to do. I don't know. What's up, man? I ain't nothing happening. I can't call it. Because what? You ain't being who you're supposed to be and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. That's why you ain't got no knowledge. That's why you can't call it. You don't know nothing because you ain't trying to be and do nothing. If you decide to be who you are and do what you're supposed to do, you'll have knowledge that allows you to solve problems. Because your mind is a tool that helps you to do what? Solve problems.
Social and personal problems.
A personal problem. So you want to change your community? Seek knowledge. Well, how do you do that? Well, how do you say, man, okay, you say talking about God and this, all this and that and the other. All right, man, but where God at? How I'm going to find God? What you? So your mama told you, your grandmama told you pray, right? Told you find him inside of you. But this is what God does. It ain't that hard. God always works through men. And he works through women. So there's a saying that says, seek and you shall find, ask and you shall receive, knock and the door shall be open. When the student is ready, the teacher will what? Show up. If you are trying to seek knowledge, if you are trying to be who you are trying to be, God will put someone in front of you. Say, well, man, I ain't had no father. I don't know, ain't nobody ever taught me how to do this. If you say, you know what? Yeah, I ain't had no father. I didn't have, my mother's half crazy. My brother's locked up. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had too good of a start in life. Well, God said, you know what? I put you through all of that because I want you to be something, and that's your preparation. Accept the fact that this is who you are, and accept the fact that I have something for you to be that's greater than what you think you are right now. You come to me and seek knowledge. I will put someone in front of you to give you the knowledge that you need to make you a leader. I will put a leader in front of you as an example for you so that you can become a good what? All you have to do is decide to be who you're supposed to be and do what you're supposed to do. And right now, every young person, what your charge is to be is a student. To be a student. And a student does 4 things. A student has to follow instructions, take information, do work, and cooperate. Go to school tomorrow and do those 4 things and see what happens. Go to school tomorrow and say, you know what, when the teacher gives an instruction, I'm going to follow it. When they start giving a lesson and giving instructions, I'm going to take notes. I'm not going to act a fool. I'm not going to run around. I'm not going to be throwing paper. I'm not going to be running through the halls. I'm not going to be doing what everybody else is doing. I'm going to follow instructions. I'm going to take information. When they say do the homework, I'm going to go home, do the homework. I'm going to bring it back. It's done. And then I'm going to cooperate. I'm not going to be arguing and acting a fool. I'm going to do what she asked me to do. He asked me to do. Do these 4 things and watch how your perspective of school changes. Because most young people at CPS, ain't nobody ever told them that. And so we don't have students in the classroom, and we also don't have the greatest teachers in the world either. But if you be a student, God is duty bound to make your teacher show up. If you want to change your reality as a young person, start right here. Start right here. Do this for 1 week. Do this for 1 week and come back next week and tell me what happened. I guarantee you, you have a story to tell. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Do this. Do this for 1 week. And you'll come back with a story. You'll be saying, Brother Muhammad, you was right. This is what happened. I know, because this is what I did. And I can introduce you to 100 other people that somebody told them the same thing that I'm telling you. They did it and they came back with some knowledge. And they became leaders among their peers. Go and do this. That makes sense? I'm glad you said what you said, brother, because you are a leader. Now you need to get on a leadership course. Now you need to get involved and learn how to be who and what you are. And each one of you, all of y'all leaders, that's why you're here. You're not here for accident. It ain't no accident that you're here today. It's not an accident that you're involved in this program. Yeah, we're going to go play ball, but that's not really why you came. You know, that's just like the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? That's the sweet part. But this is the meat. This is the meat of the meal. Y'all all right? All right, we're going to close it up. Anybody got any questions? Everybody all right?